In a previous video, I built this auto-indexing system for the Accu-Slice system. And the design of the system worked pretty well. But at the end, I wasn't happy with the accuracy and repeatability of the cuts. I was getting a variation of, plus or minus 4 or 5 thousandths of an inch, which wasn't good enough. So I took the whole system apart and made a few changes. The first thing I looked at was the software. I wanted to see if there's any place in the software where I could be skipping steps. And I found one possible location, and I modified the software to eliminate that possibility. While I was working on the software, I also changed the resolution of the setting the kerf and the board thickness. The previous system I had 0.000 3 decimal places. I added a 4 decimal places. So now when I'm dialing the board to say 50 thousandths of an inch thick, it's 0.0500. That extra digit gives you a little more accuracy. Because when you set it at 50 thousandths previously, it could be between 49 and 51. There's a little variation there. So now by getting it more accurate with a 4 digit, it's just more accurate. I also increased the speed of the reverse, so it goes faster when it's reversing back. I then looked at the indexing wheel itself, and I took it apart, and I did find a loose washer in here, which may be part of the problem. And the spring that held it in place wasn't in there. There wasn't much of a neck to hold it in place. So I remachined this and put a new one on here, so that should solve that problem. And the latest thing I did is I changed the stepper motor. This stepper motor is about 3 times more powerful than the previous one. It's the next larger size motor. So if the motor was getting overloaded, didn't have enough power to drive it, now it should have enough power. So those changes should resolve the problem. If it doesn't resolve the problem, then the problem's in the screw system, and I'll have to go to another system or try something else. But we'll see how it works now. So I'm dialed in my system. I set my kerf to 50 thousandths, 0.0500, and I set my blade thickness, my board thickness to the same thing, 0.0500. So exactly 1 full revolution. In order to test this out, then, while I was on the system, I actually did repeatable results. I kept cycling this thing 100 thousandths, which would be 2 revolutions of the indexing system. And I repeated that 20 times, and it was right on. So it's very accurate now. Now let's cut some boards, and we'll see if the problem's resolved, and we'll see how this works. So again, I have it set to 50 and 50, in other words, 100 thousandths inch thickness. I ran 2 boards off already, just to test it out, and they both came in right around 52 thousandths of an inch thick. So now we'll get started, and let's try this out. So I first released the mag jig clamps, then pushed the run button on the index controller. The controller advances the distance, 100 thousandths of an inch. I then lock the mag jig clamps, and we're ready to run. Once again, to reduce viewing time, I did increase the speed of the video here 10 times the actual running speed. Okay, that measured right around 52 thousandths, which is exactly what these previous 2 measured at. I made a couple other changes to the system. I added a second hall sensor. I still have to do some work on the software because it goes and stops, but don't reverse it. It's still sensing the sensor, so I have to change the software that only senses it on the forward stroke and not on the backward run. So I'll modify that. But I have the one sensor here, and the other one I want to put on the opposite side on the back, but they're both set up to run. But let me continue running some boards. Let me see if I can get as many as I can. I could probably get like maybe 2 more out of this board, and we'll see what the variation is in accuracy. Got 5 boards out of that, and they're all right around 52 and 53 thousandths of an inch thick. So I definitely made an improvement in the system. So let me try some other boards. So this next board is a segmented ring that I'd glued to this piece of MDF probably about 2 years ago. And I did cut some pieces off, which I used in another project. So there's about a ½ an inch left that I can cut off, but it has some small cracks, so it's not usable. But let me try cutting some maybe 25 thousandths inch thick pieces off of this, and we'll see how it works. It's a little bit smaller, so I'll be cutting on the end here. Okay, let me reset my program here. So I want a board thickness now of 25 thousandths. So the thickness is actually 24.8 thousandths, 0.0248, and the blade kerf is 50 thousandths. Well, I got 5 thin discs out of that segmented piece. You know, the glue joints are failing a piece because it's been sitting around a long time. And they all measure, 29 plus or minus maybe 1.5 thousandths. So they went from like 28 to 31 thousandths. Pretty much better than I did in the previous study. This next board is a piece of maple. It's about 1 inch wide by about 30 inches long. I'm using the flat plate clamps to hold it. Okay, and then we'll be cutting some 25 thousandths inch thick pieces once again. Well, I cut that much slower than I normally cut, but the finish is unbelievably smooth. Really nice. And it is measuring at between 25 and 26 thousandths, the entire distance, so that's pretty good. So let me cut another piece, see if we can repeat that. I got 9 boards off of that piece, and they're nice and parallel one end to the other. But let's see what kind of variation we get from one to the next. Measure them in the middle of all of them. Okay, that's 28.5. It's 25.5. It's 26. It's 25.5. 26.5, 28, 28.5, 28, and 29.5. So I got a little variation. It's pretty good. I was hoping to get better. I thought by eliminating the human factor out of dialing in the index wheel, I would get, accuracy of better than 1/1000th of an inch, but there is still some variation, which means it's probably this indexing screw on this system. So it may be worth considering, going to a system using something like this. So it's something I may try going forward. But in the meantime, it's good enough to start using for some projects. I need to get some more experience using it, getting up some parameters. What I see I could use now is a program. I like running 10 inches per minute. I'm getting beautiful surfaces on that. But if I had a program that, ran it through at 10 inches per minute and ran it back at 100 inches per minute, it went to the end, sensed the end, stopped, reversed, and went back, that would speed things up and I could just let it run automatically. The other thing going forward, if I want to join these two systems in one box and make the system totally automated, I have to do something different with these mag jig clamps. Some solenoid magnets or something might be useful here. So I got to think about that. And combining the two boxes, there's some things I like. I like having the manual control here where I can, jog it in and adjust it to get my first cut. But after I do that, then I just need a run button. Same thing here. I mainly use the run button here, but I do have the ability to jog it back. So maybe I just need a run button here and a jog button to reverse it here. So I got to think about that. But in the meantime, maybe I'll write a program. It won't take me that long to write a program to get this to automatically go through at 10 inches a minute and then reverse quickly. And we'll see how that works out. Try and eliminate some time element of stopping it and restarting it and reversing it. The last night after I did the initial testing, I went and wrote a new software program to semi-automate the system. So I'll be using these Hall sensors, one at the end and one at the beginning. So the system is designed to run through the bandsaw blade at 12 inches per minute, stop at the sensor, reverse, and go back at 100 inches per minute to the second stop and stop again. So it's kind of semi-automated, getting away for the when we automate the entire system. So it should make things go a lot faster. I have a piece of maple on here. It's about 2 inches thick, 2 inches wide, and about 14 inches long. So let me run these and see how they come out. I set the board thickness to 25 thousandths, and I set my kerf to 47 thousandths. So we'll see how accurate it is, because I always estimated my kerf was around 45. I think it's a little bit more than 45 thousandths. So we'll see what we get when we run these boards through there. I'm ready to run the first one, release my mag jigs, and I already cut a scrap off to give me a flat surface. So let's go and run. Cut my mag jigs, and now we're ready to run. Okay, that worked perfectly. Going through, stopping, reversing at a higher speed, and getting all ready to run it again. And here's my board. Let's see what it measures out at. I got 24 thousandths, 24 thousandths, 24 and a half thousandths. So we're right on, within the thousandths of an inch. Let's run a couple more, and we'll see how it goes. Release my mag jigs. I cut a total of 6 boards on that, and you see how nice that worked and how it won't be very much more to automate the entire system. Once I put the 2 boxes together, I already have the the Y or the X mechanism all taken care of. Let's see what the variation is between all these pieces. That's 27 thousandths. That's 25 thousandths. It's 27 thousandths. 25 thousandths, 24 and a half thousandths, and 24 and a half thousandths. So it's pretty good within 2 thousandths of an inch. So next step forward is start using this system in some projects. I started a series of projects a few weeks ago on the trapezoid shaped segments, and now I can finish that project using this to cut some of the thin strips I need to make those bowls and eggs I'll be making in those videos. And in the process of doing that, I'll verify what I need as far as what controls, what buttons I need, so I can start thinking about how I want to combine these two into one box. I just need some experience using the system to see how it works and what parameters are important. I also want to consider, making another system using this, which may be more accurate, but that's a little more involved. But the first thing is to get this tested with some projects, see what I like, then look at combining the 2 boxes into one, and seeing where it goes from there. But overall, I'm quite happy with it. The accuracy is plus or minus maybe 1.5 thousandths to 2 thousandths at the most. So it's pretty good. It's good for wood. It's not that great for doing metal, but for cutting wood, it's pretty accurate. But possibly with the new Y mechanism here, it might be a little more accurate. So we'll see that in the future. But that's a little more involved because I had to remake the entire system to make that system. So that concludes this video. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching this video. If you have any additional comments or concerns or questions or even new ideas for me, I'm always open to new ideas to improve the project. Please give me a call or drop us an email. And once again, thank you for watching this video.